Hey guys, welcome back to For Your Reference, and we're starting off with your phrase or mine. And because I'm a grown woman and I do whatever I want, instead of an idiom or a proverb, I am actually going to quote a line from 30 Rock, and you're going to have to tell me who said it and what the context is.
Oh shit! All right, bring it on.
Because we love Tina Fey, and I break the rules for her every time. Okay, so the line is, "I's sitting next to Borpo."
Okay, that sounds like something Tracy Morgan would say. So context? I don't know what the fucking context is.
That's okay, because context left the building.
So I was wrong.
It was Liz Lemon, and it's when she thought she saw Oprah on the plane.
Can you repeat this phrase? What was it?
"I sitting next to Borpo."
Oh, fuck! Don't remember that. All right, you win this one.
Let's get on to the show. Hey friends and lovers, welcome back to For Your Reference. You have your host KT.
And the OT.
And listen up, fives, a 10 is speaking. You need to check your beepers because we are going to have some cheesy blasters on MILF Island. Yes, motherfucker, we are covering 30 Rock.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop, indeed. I am so excited. If this is the first time you've ever come to our podcast, welcome. This is the most momentous episode for you to ever tune in on. If you are returning, forever eternal reigning listeners, thank you so much for coming back. You will know that I fucking love Tina Fey with every fiber of my core. Elizabeth Stamatina Fey.
Stamentina.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sounds very Greek, doesn't it? Very ethnic.
I wouldn't say it sounds Greek, but you know, whatever tickles your boat.
Well, she's not Kenyan, that's for sure. But
Just to put this in context before you continue, I think the only person you love more than Colin Firth would be Tina Fey.
I think I love her more.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the only person
And
you
there's
love...
actually, there is a reference in 30 Rock where... I'm going to do it. Let's just say it now. Liz Lemon is trying to get adopted. She's trying to adopt. And she said that she had to hide her Colin Firth DVDs in case people mistook it as erotica. I think we're done. I genuinely think we're done. My worlds of splooshing collides.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fucking hell. I am so excited. Are you excited?
Yep.
Thanks, Meat Cat. Well,
I think I understood that, but yep, continue.
we have not even gotten into the stats yet, so let's do that. From the Mind Grapes, which again, if you listen to our episodes, I say Mind Grapes a lot. That is a direct reference. Squeezing the Mind Grapes from the youth, from 30 Rock. So 2006 to 2013, 30 Rock was on the air of NBC from the Mind Grapes of Tina Fey. Originally, when she pitched this show, it was actually more of that news show that she came out with, which had Nicole Richie in it. But the president of NBC at the time was like, nah, man, like, you need to write about what you know. If you guys didn't know, Tina Fey was the first female lead writer for SNL.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
Breaking boundaries, eh?
She is breaking my lady parts. And I am living for it. So it was quite a darling in regards to awards, specifically in regards to Emmys. It got 103 Emmy Award nominations.
That's amazing.
And 10 of it was actually in the first season alone. But you know,
Did it win any? Or just noms?
excuse me.
Just putting it out there, you know? You can have 500 nominations.
What do you think this is? Amateur hour? Seriously.
But that's really impressive. It is.
Yeah, whatever. You don't deserve Tina Fey. You don't deserve good shows. Go and watch your
Friends.
Chums. That's another reference. Let's go. Let's go. We've got so much to cover today. But yes, 30 Rock, you need to watch it. If I can only recommend or reference one show for you guys to watch, it is 30 Rock. Tina Fey, Alec Baldwin, Jane Krakowski, Tracy Morgan, Jack McBrayer, Scott Adsit, who's Pete Hornberger, Judah Friedlander, you got Keith Powell as Tufa. It's a delicioso cast. Eat it all up. Because I'm a proud peacock, baby. We're not going to get through this episode if I keep spouting out references. So let's go through first impressions. Obviously, I'm going to go first.
Obviously,
I'm going to go first.
Oh, it's me just being a gentleman and letting you go first. So let's see.
We don't know her. We don't know her. What are you talking about? But I came across 30 Rock literally on like a grandma show. Like there's a TV channel in Australia that plays like Cheers and MASH, and somehow 30 Rock was playing on there. And that's how I came across it, which is really weird because I don't know. But in any case, I am so thankful that I came across the show. I didn't watch it when it came out in 2006. And just to gauge, because people like to play a game of how old is Katie? I was still in high school when 30 Rock came out. So I had a couple of seasons to catch up on, but I was hooked. I was hooked. I'd never seen anything like this before. This was before I watched Community, before I watched Arrested Development. And, you know, we have so much to cover, and the guest cast for this is quite expansive as well. So I just want to say it now because I probably won't get the time. But 30 Rock is layered in its writing. It has jokes that have continual payoffs. It has callbacks to previous seasons, and it's delicious and it's bitey and it's witty in every sense of it, and it's one of the best sort of comedy shows that has depth, that is in a league of its own.
Wow, high praise
and high arousal. All alerts, all alarms are going off right now. But yes, so I came across 30 Rock and I was hooked. I was obsessed. I guess it was just before my time when Tina Fey was on 30 Rock, but I motherfucking stan. I know I said stand for everything, but stand everything everywhere in all the holes. You'll all have chins, my friends. Really?
I got your phrase of mine wrong. So what part of this statement do you think I'll be able to catch up with you? With all the references you're spitting out right now.
Well, you'll never compare with my affections.
How many times have you watched 30 Rock?
At least 15 times. Is this an intervention?
It is an intervention. Anyone who is listening to this, you know, write us up and we need to help Katie stop watching 30 Rock for a while.
And we've talked about this on other episodes. If I had the choice, I would rewatch 30 Rock a million other times than try new TV shows.
Far out. No wonder you're not watching anything else.
Hey, mate, look at our podcast.
Everything we've pretty much covered on the podcast is me initiating you to watch them. So,
but I initiate you in other things.
All right. You've won that argument. All right.
Oh, actually, while we're on the topic, Liz Lemon's character is always weird about sex. Like she's sexually repressed. And we'll blame Tom Jones for that, but that's a story for another day. Apparently, Tina Fey wrote that into the script because she didn't want to have to do sex scenes. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And also, while we're at it, her husband, who she met in Second City when she was auditioning and she was actually part of the improv crew, is a musical composer. And that's who he was in Second City. And he does all of the music for 30 Rock.
Oh.
And that's quite a nice little component that you have of 30 Rock, continuing on to Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and, other projects as well.
It is, but maybe the reason why she didn't want to do sex scenes is because the husband was fucking there.
Yeah, but she still kissed, like, would you let me kiss John Hamm?
Hey, get out of... No, I would not.
We don't take too kindly
We don't take too
to the
kindly.
ham around here. I don't know. That's a weird, and we have that conversation all the time. And I told you, you don't need to worry about me like hooking up with other people. I would literally not be an actress because I'm weird about toilets.
Or you go the Chloe. I want to say her second name. She used to be in Big Love, and she pretty much filmed. She did a movie with her husband where they did like the full sexual act. So, yeah, you're welcome. The movie's called Brown Bunny.
Or your best friend, Emily Browning. Is that her name?
Yeah.
The one that's in American Gods.
She does some creepy sex scenes, man.
With old people.
Yeah, that was a bit, I'd give that a pass.
Okay, I've set the timer. That's enough diversion from 30 Rock.
All right, let's continue. You're talking about your first...
That is as much as I will allow you.
You're talking about your first impressions.
I am fucking obsessed with 30 Rock and it's weird because as a brown girl in Australia, not even in America, like I had no one in my circles. OT loves when I talk about my circles.
Your circles watch shit.
We just watch out the brown people, okay?
Mate, you put the news on and you'll still be like, oh, mate, in my circles, I'm the only one watching this.
It's usually just rugby. That's usually what my people watch.
Out, man.
But in any case, it was hard for me to find people that like loved 30 Rock the way I loved 30 Rock. But the cutest thing about my family, even though they didn't understand why I fucking love this show, is when I went to Kenya, they actually bought me the box set of the first 5 seasons, which is very, very cute.
Yeah.
So it's just fueling my obsession with 30 Rock. But let's leave that because I am going to pepper my juices all over this episode about how much I love 30 Rock. How about you, sir? Because you kind of resisted it. You kind of resisted it. And it was kind of a deal breaker that it took you, 4, 5, even 6 years.
It took a long time to convince me to watch it.
And why?
Just because when I started it, when it came out, I think I tried it. Okay. Yes. And Tracy Morgan is a wonderful actor. But far out, he irritated the hell out of me. I was like, I'm not watching this shit.
But what reference did you have of him before that? Or you just had an assumption?
None. I just couldn't understand his delivery. It was just weird.
He seemed like a caricature.
Yeah, he just put me off. And I was like, nah, man, I'm not going to do this. But after several attempts by Katie for me to watch this,
gentle nudgings. That will be the first chapter of my erotic novel, Gentle Nudgings.
Mate, I'd wake up with 30 Rock playing in the background. I subconsciously watched it the entire show without knowing it anyway.
So he was the main reason.
Yeah. He just pissed me off. I don't know why.
Well, you had an assumption and you didn't test it. You just steered away from the show.
Yeah.
So eventually, after years and years and years of unfavorable favors to you, you watched 30 Rock. And what did you think? Because, I'm that annoying person because when I love a show, I get obsessed. And I'm that person. We're both sitting there watching it, but I'm like, look, babe, look, can you see it? Layers, that's a callback. That's a reference. Come on.
Yeah, annoying is the right word you use there. It's just
rude.
It grew on me. At first, I was just watching it just to make peace.
Oh, wow.
But after a few episodes, I could tell where it was heading, and realizing that I didn't give it its proper chance and credit, and I completely understood Tracy Morgan's character.
We'll talk about his character in particular, but Tracy Morgan is a phenomenal talent. He is. No, he really is. But you need people that know how to write for him, because so easily he can become the caricature. See, cop out. But if people if people know Tracy Morgan and they know how ridiculous of a man he is, they can actually portray it in a satisfying way for everyone. See 30 Rock, see The Last OG. Headed by Jordan Peele, our best friend on most days. Right? But wow. Let's get into the cast. Is there anything else you want to mention about 30 Rock?
Nah, mate.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, well, let's get into it. Obviously, we are going to be starting with Tina Fey's character, Liz Lemon, or Yellow Sour Fruit, which was the Japanese version when she got a Deal Breakers show.
Fuck's sakes, I don't even remember that. I'm qualified to be in this podcast.
You are. Let's just say my bar of expectations of you is very low. You just need to appreciate the art of this show. That's all you need to do. Come with an open heart and clean hands.
That I can do.
And a big dick.
That's already there.
I know, I can see. And that's why we don't have a video podcast, guys. But let's go back to Liz Lemon as a character. So she is a successful head writer of The Girly Show, which is what it's originally called. And she is single for the most part. She's living in New York. She's successful. She's, most of her life is essentially wrapped up in work. And I told you, even watching the first episode, the pilot of 30 Rock, it got me immediately, because one of the opening scenes is Liz Lemon standing in line to buy a hot dog in the morning, which I relate to. I know why you're laughing. Are you thinking about KFC at 10 a.m. in Kenya?
Yep.
I thought that was the norm.
That is not a norm. That is not a norm anywhere. You don't eat fried food before lunchtime.
I thought KFC was the mother's milk of Kenya. We're going to get in trouble. Let's go back to 30 Rock. But she was standing in a hot dog line, and it essentially was this man out of nowhere forming his own line. Because he didn't feel like waiting. He formed his own line. And the current line actually went against her and formed the other line as well. So what Liz Lemon did is she bought all of the hot dogs, as Pete Hornberger would say. And I relate to that so fucking hard, because people are shitty, man. Like, is it really going to hurt you to just stand in a fucking line? And I was drawn in. And it was charming and it was great. And, let's get through the series. But in that particular first episode, we have to go meet the exec. So Liz and Pete Hornberger, they go up to meet Jack Donaghy for the first time. And, Jack Donaghy is giving all of this business sort of spiel. And Liz Lemon is like, oh, I get it. So you take things that don't need to be fixed and you fix them. And Alec Baldwin, apparently this was an ad lib, he was like, oh, I like you. You have the confidence of a younger woman. And he also talks about her having shark eyes as well. Oh, this is a rich show.
You know what set it apart for me? Like the fact that they didn't try to put Alec Baldwin and Tina Fey together.
Yeah.
That did it for me, because I guarantee you, if it was any other show, those two would have had sex or what in a relationship of some sorts.
But I'm sure there's fanfic out there.
Yeah, fanfiction is a different thing altogether.
And later with the Queen of Jordan, there was the sequence where Jack Donaghy was kissing everyone with Titus as well, or DeFuan. That's his name in 30 Rock. And it gets to the point where Liz Lemon and Jack Donaghy have to kiss and they don't end up doing it. And it's just for all the fans to be like, this isn't going to happen.
Never.
Right? But that's supposed to mirror Tina Fey and Lorne Michaels' relationship.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That sort of dynamic. Senpai
They're
and
super
Kohai.
close, but then it's all...
Yeah, definitely. But I just love it. I love it. Because it's nice. It's nice to see someone, like a woman that is in her 30s, being successful, but not really having her life all together. Right? There's even a sequence with like a series return where Liz is starting to tell Jack what she got up to over the break. And he's like, you don't need to tell me. You probably took up knitting for 2 weeks and you gave it up. And it's just nice. It's just a nice little dynamic that Liz and Jack also have.
Yeah. It's definitely one of the best I've seen in any show.
Good God, Lemon. And that was one of the times where she had gastro and he said, where did you find time to eat a diaper on the beach? It's ridiculous. It's crazy. But I really felt like Liz Lemon was the perfect protagonist to have at the center of a show because she has a sense of who she is. She has a sense of how far she will go morally, professionally, and that is tested by her job, by Tracy, by Jack Donaghy, and even her personal sort of life. Right. And there's so many delicious morsels to get through. And speaking of her love life and all of the love interests and the guest stars that have come in regards to that. But I just want to go through the call cast first before we actually bed down on all of that, because Wesley Snipes. And let's just leave it there, because Michael Sheen, you have my whole little heart.
He's pretty good in The Good Wife as well. He sings there a lot. I think you've seen a clip of it already. I showed it to you, but
The Good Wife?
yeah, not The Good Wife, The Good Fight. Sorry,
Michael Sheen.
Yeah,
He sings.
yeah, he sang. I showed you a clip of it.
How is that not in my YouTube recommendations?
No idea. You dropped the ball, mate.
Well, now, wow. Oh, how cool. Definitely will need to check that out after my millionth time of watching 30 Rock. So, because we're going to talk about Liz Lemon all throughout anyway, especially the way she interacts with other characters. But let's talk about Jack Donaghy. Alec Baldwin. I know he obviously is the best of the Baldwins. Greatest hits coming out in 2019. But I don't think I was at an age where I actually saw anything that he was in. But in my periphery, I knew that he was, big time. Did you ever see Alec Baldwin in anything?
I think so. His face was vaguely familiar, but all I remember him for was his scandal where he called his daughter
an ungrateful pig. Okay.
And people took it so weirdly. Like, people went berserk over it. And I'm like, fucking hell. I wish my parents, all they did was ungrateful pig. I'd be bloody grateful.
Because we are not precious flowers.
Sticks and stones, mate.
Which is a Dave Chappelle comedy, which we're not talking about. But we're not precious flowers that only grow at the peak of the Swiss Alps, right? And exactly what you're saying, because if that's all you got from your parents...
Ungrateful pig. That was hilarious to me. Fuck's sake.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if all of the beatings and all of the verbal abuse from our parents were documented? That would be a problem.
Yeah, that would be a problem. I would take a ungrateful pig any time of the day.
It's kind of endearing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. Fuck's sakes.
It's kind of funny.
It is hilarious.
But wow.
Yeah. Yeah. No, so I didn't know him. Well, I think I've seen him in a few stuffs, movies here and there, but wasn't a big draw enough for me to watch 30 Rock, definitely for sure, when it first came out. Yeah. Didn't know Tina Fey. Yeah, it was just weird. I thought the ensemble was a bit, and then it was Tracy Morgan in there. It just ruined it for me. At the start, before being enlightened.
This is how black people watch 30 Rock. Boop, 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 boop. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate.
Oh my goodness me. Actually, no, I'll leave it when we actually talk about Tracy. So let's go back to Jack Donaghy. He kind of embodied the, that white man in power, the conservative, because he's a Republican, even though in real life, Alec is a staunch, vocal liberal, right? So that made it quite fun. But, if you take it from like a mechanical sort of sense, more of the greater sort of shows that are conscious of themselves, whenever they want to carry out or convey, offensive sort of rhetoric, it's done through problematic characters or conservative sort of characters. So, for example, in Community, you have Pierce. So he says all of the shitty things, right? And it's all funneled through his character. Not to say Jack Donaghy had the same, but, all of that Republican sort of speech comes through him.
Yeah, and just to put it out there, once Chevy Chase left Community, it just started going downhill.
Oh, yeah, totally. Totally. But thank you for respecting the gods, and that's why we're doing 30 Rock before we're doing Community.
You're welcome.
So I appreciate that very much. It's nice you know where you lay your head.
I do.
On the billowy bosoms of 30 Rock. But Jack Donaghy was quite an interesting character because he went through he was all about business, right? But most of his day was taken up by Liz Lemon's ridiculous problems, right? And then later on in the series, it talks about the shower principal. That's who Liz Lemon is, right? For him to be able to figure stuff out professionally, he needed the distractions of Liz Lemon, right? And one of the funniest sort of exchanges that you have between Liz Lemon and Jack Donaghy is when she's negotiating, and she actually reads his book, right? So she's got her hair up, and it's essentially a jack off, and I'm pretty sure that's what the episode is called as well.
I'd take your word for it.
You don't want to pull your glasses up?
No, they're not coming up for this.
But for all of the ups and downs that Jack and Liz has, there's that foundational respect, and genuinely wanting the best for each other. Yeah. Because there was a story arc where Liz Lemon wrote Deal Breakers. Right? And she was pitching to shows. Yeah. So Jack was actually like, let me just package it up and I'll just give it to you. You can just do it on NBC. It's fine. Right? And, Jenna and Tracy got into Liz's head. And then they're not necessarily, the focal point for rationality, are they?
No, they're not.
So I guess she just got all up in her head. And that's where we actually meet her agent, who is one of my favorite characters, like one of my favorite minimal side characters on 30 Rock.
Is this the kid with the
really big suit?
Yeah.
And he initially was just an agent for dogs, and he was excited because Liz Lemon was going to be his first human client.
You know what I don't get sometimes? Like, I understood the character and I thought some bits were funny, but I was like, would Liz really go with him? Like, I don't know. It just felt a bit weird for me.
Yeah, but then we also found that she was hiding money like an immigrant. Like she didn't have a 401k set up, and
that's
she
the
wasn't.
best way to save money. Put it under your mattress, kids.
Yeah, that's what my parents were telling me. I could see it when they were beating me under the mattress. But my point is, in that particular story arc, you had Padma Lakshmi from Top Chef.
Yep.
right? And essentially the show was going to be pitched for her. And Jack was like, no, I don't want to change your life. I want to change Liz's life. And then you have like the final scene of that episode.
Oh yeah, that was really sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was quite nice. And they kind of play on that will they, won't they throughout the whole season. And that was kind of a crescendo, one of the crescendos that they have in the series as well. But Jack Donaghy also did not like Lutz.
No one liked Lutz.
No one liked Lutz, but like the very existence of Lutz just infuriated him.
Yeah, it's like Lutz was Pooty to
String a bell
yeah.
in The Wire. He just didn't want him breathing.
Nah,
essentially. One of the other highlights with Jack Donaghy is whenever he had little squabbles with Tufa and Frank Rossitano as well. There was one episode where they actually found his voice because in uni he actually used his voice because he had the
like the Alexa thing,
the perfect American accent. Was it Twigs and Berries or something? It was like a code phrase where no matter what was happening, he had to leave the room. So I like those little squabbles as well. And remember how they tricked Pete Hornberger into thinking that Jack was calling him so they could have beers in his with guitar, which actually ended up happening, which was quite nice as well. But it was nice seeing him just have scenes with the plebs, if you will. With the writers' room. Another sort of interactions that I really enjoyed was Jack Donaghy and Jenna.
Yeah.
They had quite a lot. I think one of the first times they're actually introduced to each other is when Kenneth buys hemorrhoids cream for Jenna's under eye. Which is quite fun because, Alec Baldwin is a very handsome man and he has a full head of hair. Like Jack Donaghy says, the hair is the head suit for business. So he gets it trimmed every 2 days, right? But there's an exchange where Jack Donaghy is coming in and he's talking about how, Jenna's character or her as an actress isn't testing very well with straight males. So he asked her all of these rapid fire questions of how old are you, when were you born, what song was played at your prom, and it was Motown Philly, Boys to Men. One of the last questions that he asked is theater or drive-in, and Jenna's like, what's a drive-in? Oh, but it was so nice. It was so nice to see like the face-offs, that Jack will have with other characters as well. But before we go into other characters, and I definitely want to talk about the guest cast, but let me just talk about this one and then we'll focus more on the main cast.
Oh, yeah.
Devin Banks.
Oh.
Job Bluth. Will Arnett. Will Arnett, we fucking love you. And I'm glad you got BoJack Horseman because for a long time you were in a string of cancelled shows.
Mate, he had his own show, I think, right after.
It was called Up All Night, or that was one of them. Where they're like new parents.
Boring as hell.
Yeah, and he had another one as well.
The one from
Flaked.
Yes.
See how dedicated I am? I won't watch more than 10 minutes of your show, but I know it. But Devin Banks and Jack Donaghy, wasn't that a fun little jerk off between the two?
Oh, that was really cool. Yeah.
Pew! Laser beam. Pew! Laser shield. So good. So good. And it's just nice seeing like people that genuinely know how to act and have comedic tendencies in the room together. It is a delight to watch.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy the dynamism between them two, and it was just something that added to what Jack was and what he was fighting to be, or what he wanted to be in terms of his ambition of leading GE.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, I got
And
that right.
television and microwave programming. And it sounds like he programs microwaves.
Yeah. And the fact that what was his name? I've got to call
Devin.
him Job. Devin.
Call him Job, actually.
Wanted to tried all the underhand ways to lead GE, and he got in, but it was so fun to watch it.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And Will Arnett, and they kind of play off this in 30 Rock as well. He's got a very gravelly, Batman-esque type voice. So, you know, Jack and Devin's character will have that sort of Batman off in regards to their voices. And later on in the season, there's Devin Banks absolutely crushing it. And at the end, he's talking to his, what do they call it? Send us a tweet, guys. He refers to his beautiful babies. I don't think he says mulatto, but he refers to the babies, cappuccino maybe. And he's like, who wants their nom-noms?
I don't remember that.
You don't?
No.
Do you remember when they're at Don Geis's place for a barbecue and he keeps getting tackled?
Yes.
Well, there you go. Well, I think that says more about you than it does about the show.
For sure.
Well, actually no. Let's stay with Jack for a second. Elaine Stritch, rest in peace, plays the mother, Colleen Donaghy.
Yeah.
How nice was it seeing them two together?
Yeah, it was a weird relationship, them two, right?
Yeah, well, I guess Colleen had made a lot of sacrifices for Jack that he wasn't aware of. So he just got the output of it, which wasn't warm most of the time.
You know what that relationship reminded me of?
Archer and Mallory?
Yes.
I was literally about to say the same thing.
I was gonna say that. It's so Mallory and Archer, isn't it?
It is, in all the best and heartbreaking. Because you know there were some pieces of the puzzle that were missing.
Yeah, they don't know. They both don't know their fathers.
Yeah.
They can't get any sort of emotion from their mothers. Like it's, you know, the love is there, but it's all hidden and tucked away safe. The emotions, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, as much as Jack Donaghy will detest to it, it was important to have her around.
Yeah.
And Elaine Stritch is just, she is obviously it's universally accepted that she is a fucking legend.
Yep, she is.
Was. It seems weird to say was. But one of my favorite scenes is when she gets hit by the car. And then she comes back, not the fact that she gets hit by a car, but she comes back and she's interrogating Jack because he waited 8 minutes.
Before he did anything.
Yeah. He waited 8 minutes before he called 911 or whatever. Right? So she's there in the wheelchair and she's like, Exhibit A. And she's talking about the watch, but not the Cartier watch. See, I'm so poor, I can't even pronounce it. Cartier?
Let's go with that. I feel like my Kenyan accent will just devour that.
Oh my, I know where you are at 10 a.m. Hey, that's a callback, my friends. You're welcome. And then, so she goes through a series of interrogations and she's fully, and what I love about it, she just plays it so straight. She plays it so straight. She's like, 16 minus 8 equals 8. I just love, like, my heart just warms. And when he gets with Liz, well, he doesn't get with Liz, but he takes her as a date. And Elaine Stritch Colleen meets her for the first time. She was like, oh, finally, a good one on your hands, right?
Yeah.
Not like that. She didn't call her a floozy, but she was like, not like that airhead Beyonce.
Yeah.
Right? So good. We also have Emily Mortimer with her hollow bones.
Hollow bones.
And one of the most favorite moments I have, like watching with Elaine Stritch, was when Jack Donaghy and Emily Mortimer's character were planning their wedding. And, you know, Emily Mortimer I guess she was just too prissy for Colleen's character. and she was saying that they're going to get married in the spring because that's when the petunias are about to bloom. and and Colleen didn't respond, and she's like, "Did you hear me?" She's like, "Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you heard you." So good.
How do you reckon those two had sex? Because she could, well, because of her hollow bones, she could do pretty much anything.
Well, I guess that's how you get out of particular things.
Yeah, probably.
I'm banking that excuse. Don't you worry.
Ooh, Elizabeth Banks.
Elizabeth. Oh, do you want to go into love interest, or you want to go to the rest of the core cast?
Love interest, and then we'll divert through the others.
So Elizabeth Banks is who, well, Avery Jessup is who Jack Donaghy ends up with.
Yeah.
Right? With Liddy, with their child. And she actually gets stuck in North Korea. And Margaret Cho plays Kim Jong-il as well. So there's like a little sub-arc as well. But she was a fiery little hot pocket,
She really
wasn't
was,
she?
yeah.
And she actually had a show called The Hot Box. Right, which is where I think they first met. And also, let's not forget that Jack Donaghy also kind of maybe had a relationship with Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah.
As well. A lot happened on 30 Rock. Yeah, but with Elizabeth Banks's character, she was quite an interesting sort of dynamic, right? And she gave it as much as Jack Donaghy did to Liz Lemon as well.
Yeah, it did.
Right? Yeah, but she was quite an interesting character as well, and it was interesting to see. I can't remember what her counterpart's name was, but them tapping the pencils.
Oh, when doing the Morse code.
He had a really generic name, maybe Steve or something.
Can't remember, but when they were captured in North Korea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he also had a maybe also fling with Diane Jessup, who is played by Mary Steenburgen. I've seen her in quite a few things after, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she kind of falls into a tryst with the other Baldwin, the Baldwin brother. Let's talk about...
Wait, they have some strong genes, them Baldwins, right?
Oh, yes.
Far out.
I think... Do you think they have stronger genes than, say, Hemsworth or Skarsgård's?
Oh, for sure. You can tell a Baldwin from miles away.
Yeah. Actually. Yeah. Well, there you go. Is that where you wanted it to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Well, it went as far as you took it then. Let's talk about Julianne Moore. She plays Nancy Donovan from Boston. Yeah. That's my Boston accent.
Yeah, it was a pity that they didn't end up together. I was rooting for them.
I wanted them to be together too. And when he was trying to figure out who's better, and he had a whole math equation about it as well, he was trying to figure out because Nancy Donovan, Julianne Moore's character, is who he was.
Yeah.
And, you don't need to put up a wall because she knows who you are and this is who you are. But Avery Jessup makes him the man that he wants to be. Right? And yeah, I was definitely rooting for Julianne Moore's character. I liked hearing her accent. If anyone is from Boston, let us know if that is an authentic accent. But Julianne Moore is a motherfucking treasure.
Yeah. Even if it wasn't authentic, she fucking makes it.
She does so well in everything. But let's continue because I'm about to start a love fest and I think I already have one pending.
I'll start it.
Well, actually, there's quite a lot of love interests. And when I was writing it down, I think he had more than Liz Lemon. Well, it's Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ungrateful pigs. We have Edie Falco playing Celeste Cunningham.
Yeah. I forgot about Eddie.
I love how they made a Lifetime movie out of her, and I'll need to get the full name of it, but essentially the neighbor's dog shot my face off. When you have like some Jack Russell sort of dog shooting her, and Jack Donaghy saying, I didn't know it was you. Now it makes sense because you were making love like an ugly girl. Very generous.
Yeah.
Is the point.
I hated her. I hated her in Sopranos, but She was really good in this.
As Carmen?
Camilla? Oh, whatever.
As Edie Falco.
As Edie Falco.
Yeah, she was a problem in Sopranos, but I loved her in Oz.
Yeah. And Nurse Jackie.
I haven't watched Nurse Jackie, but
You've not watched
I will.
anything.
But I will wholeheartedly endorse it just on the fact that Edie Falco is in it. But she, I don't really know titles because I'm not American. But she was fighting for it. It was essentially the equivalent of like Flintwater, Michigan. But the kids were swimming in the lake and their skin turned orange. Which for some people lacking melanin, they walk around looking orange anyway with their fake
goes
tan.
unnoticed.
with their fake tan, but I guess this was a unintended orange moment. Yes. So, you know, them battling their morality and code of ethics. I thought that was quite cute. And they were talking about, you know, just leaving that world behind and they'll grow heirloom tomatoes, which is very cute.
Yeah.
Very nice. But, you know, Alec Baldwin, maybe it's not hard because he had such gorgeous counterparts, but, you know, it was nice. It was nice to see him interact with his love interests.
Yeah.
Speaking of the double D category, she's more than a double D.
Salma Hayek?
Salma Hayek. What cup size do you think she is?
I have no idea.
Let's invest. Let's invest some money because I want to know. These are pertinent questions of the For Your Reference household. It's all about titties, mate. Who plays Elisa. And we later find out that she killed her husband because she loved too much. And there was a song made about her and it had Zach Braff in it. Elisa. Actually, 30 Rock has a lot of fun songs on the side.
It does.
It
My
does.
favorite is Muffin Top.
My muffin top is all that.
Oh, there is no fat. I don't know the words.
Oh, I was waiting you to start moaning in the song. But yes, we have Salma Hayek's character, and it's like all of the things you want Salma to say, she says it in this, where she talks about a McFlurry. And when they're at the church and they're going to mass, and Jack Donaghy is trying to hold the table, and you know she was talking about how he's all about work, and she said something. She's like, "You've got big something," and he's like, "You've got big boobs," and she's like, "And you never going to see that again." He's like, "Oh, this has taken an unfortunate turn of events." And she says, "You won't get to see the crazy underwears I have on." I don't know. It's just like, it's very important to know who was on your show and write for them, because that was primo content. And how she would how Jack will moonlight, and the patient that she was looking after would be like, "A man comes at night and he takes us to the dinosaurs."
And this
So
is also
good.
where we had the Telemundo show, right?
Generalissimo.
Yes.
Yes. So good. So good. And there are so many different you know, intonations in regards to 30 Rock. Before we continue moving along, I just want to mention for Celeste Cunningham's character, Tracy Morgan is essentially the hype man for Jack Donaghy. You know, pretty much being like, "Go and get your girl," and he says, "Tell her you want to donate her body to science, and your science. Tell her, Jack. Tell her booty looks like an apple and you want to take a bite." Oh, wow. This show is amazing. So let's keep going. Let's continue. Before we leave Jack Donaghy's world, I just want to talk about Malik Panchali, who plays Jonathan.
Yeah.
I can live. And then he had a whole montage. He made like a little collage of him and Jack. Do you remember?
He was adorable. He
He was
really
great.
loved Jack.
And he always tried to keep Liz Lemon away. So good.
Because she was competition essentially for Jack's attention.
Oh, definitely. 100%. Before we move on from Jack Donaghy's character, I do just want to mention Milton Green. But one of the most amazing like sub arcs that you have in 30 Rock is when Jack Donaghy finds out that he has a Mamma Mia. And Liz Lemon helps him get the Mamma Mia together. And we find out that Alan Alda is actually Jack Donaghy's father.
Yeah.
But he needs a kidney. So they end up having like a benefit show in regards to that. And they did not come to play. Mary J. Blige, Clay Aiken, Elvis Costello, Sheryl Crow, Adam Levine, a whole slew of genuine musicians singing a song about a kidney.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
And Wycliffe was in there as well.
Oh, can't have these things without Wycliffe.
And obviously Jenna Maroney.
The star of the show.
So good. But that's one of my favorite. And don't ask me what my absolute favorite episode of 30 Rock is. That's just cruel.
Yeah, all of them are your favorite.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We stand. Look at you. Let's talk about Jenna Maroney.
She is the most ridiculous character I've seen.
Oh, yeah.
In any show.
Oh, yeah. And what I love about Jane Krakowski is she is genuinely beautiful, gorgeous, talented. She can act, she can sing, but she also doesn't take herself too seriously, so she makes fun of it as well. And that's quite nice because one of the first sort of introductions that we have to her crazy sort of character is her singing on the boat. Right?
Yeah.
Where Tracy Jordan is like, do you sing? She's like, no, I don't. She grabs a mic and starts singing. And then later on, you see in the papers, she's like passed out on the boat. Right? And Jack was like, Liz was like, you need to make it up to her. And Jack's like, no, she'll like it. And she genuinely, like, she does everything for attention. Genocide with her website.
Yeah.
She's so good. Oh, and remember she was auditioning for an episode of Gossip Girl? And she
thought she...
she was reading the parts of the child and not the mother.
Oh, far out.
I fucking love it. And I'm glad that she continued on in Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
One of her favorite scenes for me was when she was doing the movie The Earl Juror. And they had like a minute of sunlight and she still dunked it. Like, bloody hell, she's amazing.
She is amazing. Just one citation. That was actually for another movie. But it's okay.
It wasn't for The Earl
No,
Juror.
it's fine. It's fine.
What was it for?
She was like a werewolf doctor.
Oh, I don't remember that. Well, kudos. I always saw it was for The Earl Juror.
The Earl Juror. Oh, wow. And Muffin Top. And when she had that little rivalry with Weird Al.
Oh, yeah.
I am kidnapped. So good. She just radiates everything. So good. Fucking love Jenna Maroney. And her mum, Verna.
Yeah, that was a bit sad.
Yeah, it was sad. And sometimes, you grow up to realize that your parents are human, and sometimes that means they're trash, right? And Verna was, but she did have an arrangement with Jack Donaghy. But one of my favorite moments when she was throwing a birthday party for Jenna, and they started singing, "Do that to me one more time. Once is never enough." And Liz is like, why aren't you emotional over this? And Jack's like, because I'm listening to the words. So good. And then like even hearing Jenna's backstory, and everything that she's gone through, and apparently she received her schooling on an immigration boat. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. And the running joke they have about her and Mickey Rourke.
Oh, yeah.
As well.
Yeah, poor Mickey Rourke.
They also have a running joke about OJ. Because she was talking about going to an audition and how OJ was supposed to pick her up. And she called OJ, and OJ's like, "Wait, you're alive? Who did I kill then?" Oh, there are just some really good, really, really good moments. And I'm so glad that Jenna found her love in Will Forte, in Paul.
Oh.
Obviously, a Jenna impersonator.
Oh, of course.
But who else?
Who else? Yeah.
Who else? And I also really loved when she was getting with Habsburg Prince Gerhard as well when she was dancing, and he loved it so much his eyebrow fell off. So,
He died, right?
he did. He did. I don't even know. It's too late to say spoilers now. Let's get into Tracy Jordan.
Yeah. Hard to love, but once you love him, it's unstoppable.
He's the third heat, baby.
Hmm.
I love when they go to Taste Temptations or Tastations, which is the strip club that he goes with Liz Lemon, and they this is one of the, because we reference stuff a lot in the For Your Reference household, just in normal conversation, and one of our favorite ones is, "No, that's charisma over there." And when Tracy Morgan was trying to be more serious, when he was trying to EGOT,
Yeah.
and they go back to the strip club, and instead of all of the dancers dancing for him, they actually start crying and trying to get advice from Tracy Morgan, and he's like, "They're crying on their titties, Liz Lemon." And then he was in that movie Hard to Watch,
Yeah.
as well. Oh, but Tracy everything, right? And when he was trying to EGOT, one of the only people that have EGOT successfully is Whoopi Goldberg, right? So he goes over and, after speaking to her, he actually tries to steal one,
Yeah.
right? And before he can actually grab it, Whoopi Goldberg is like, "Colored man, put that down." Put that down. And Whoopi Goldberg also, because of the George Foreman grill that Tracy Jordan decided not to sell, she did it. Right? So that was quite funny as well, and I really enjoyed that. But expanding his family, Sherry Shepherd as Angie, so good.
Oh, yeah. She has sass for days.
She has sass for days, and when they're about to, or when they're having sex, they're like, "You can leave the room, but it's happening right now." That's something we like to adopt as well.
Yeah, we tell that to our dog all the time.
Role play, baby. Oh, but it's so good. And Werewolf Bar Mitzvah.
Spooky scary.
Something very interesting. They actually recorded a full feature song of
did
that.
they?
Yeah, but then Tracy Morgan disappeared, or he just didn't come for the rest of it. So they actually had Donald Glover impersonating his voice. Right? So good.
Hilarious.
So good. But yeah, and then it spawned off into Queen of Jordan, which is one of my favorite inside shows inside of 30 Rock. So you have obviously Angie, you have Defuan, which is the first time we've been introduced to Titus.
Andromedon, yep.
Yes, thank you. I'll take another slice, please. And it's so good. And Brandy, the lady that has a stripper studio, which is where Frank and Susan Sarandon go.
Yeah.
For a cute little date, if that's what you want to call it. But it's so good. Queen of Jordan was very good. And I love how Jenna constantly tried to get in the clique. As she was throwing, she essentially drank all of her throwing wine. Which is a whole mood.
It is.
It is a whole mood. But we also have in Tracy's entourage, we have Grizz and .com. And they're actually genuine friends of Tracy Morgan.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. And .com, who is Kevin Brown, actually at one point was his manager.
That's nice.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
And that, I guess that just gives more layering when they have that bodyguard sequence. When he said, I will always love you. Yeah. Another fun sort of cover that they do as well is when Kenneth goes over to the Jordan's house to make love to Angie. And .com starts singing This Ain't No Ordinary Love. So good. There is so much to unpack in this, but unfortunately we don't have all the time in the world. I also just want to pinpoint Ridiculous, played by LL Cool J.
Yeah.
With the Source Awards, where Liz Lemon inadvertently shoots Wayne Brady for reaching into his bag. So good. So good. And Wayne Brady, his name is Steven, but I think their last name was Black, wasn't it?
Yeah.
because Jack Donaghy mentions it, and he's like, no, it's not a racist thing. That's just their name, and they're not good swimmers either. But you have Wayne Brady's character, and he is just like a super nerd, and he talks about Star Wars. Who Liz Lemon, she's obsessed, and obviously you see Princess Leia and other Star Wars references throughout 30 Rock, and he's like, no, I mean the actual book. And let me just say this, because I know a lot of our friends and fellow potties love Star Wars. If Liz Lemon / Tina Fey can't get me into Star Wars, then there's no hope in the world.
I'm not going to fight that.
and there's no point. I also want to mention Denise Richards also features on 30 Rock when they speak on behalf of all of the idiots. That was quite a nice moment as well. So I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that. But let's move on. Let's talk about the other core cast that we have. Scott Adsit plays Pete Hornberger.
Oh, you feel sorry for Pete.
You do.
Even when he's supposedly happy, you still feel sorry for him.
Yeah, he's that character that is in a relationship in college and they end up having a baby.
Yeah, don't, guys.
Well, that part of your life is redacted in the official government documents. But Pete Hornberger is, all of the parts of you that feel like you're not doing well in your life. There was the poker night where he pretty much gambled everything, including his wedding ring. Right? There was also the night of MILF Island when he gets stuck in the vending machine. And he throws things at the phone and he just needs to get 4 digits and he ends up calling his own. Just the world does not shine brightly on Pete Hornberger. No. Unfortunately. And I love how there's a little sub-arc that he was a medalist in the Olympics for archery as well.
Yeah, he came in second, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, right? Just like Ray from Archer. When Archer was like, you came third. Yeah, from the world.
As long as it's not gold, mate, doesn't count for shit.
Hornberger. And how he ends up cheating his death and living his own life. And a year later, Paula comes up with the kids in the van and is like, get in. Yeah.
The wife pretty much knew and just gave him a break for pretty much a year.
Oh, totally. So good. So good. And just amazing. And he's known Tina Fey since 1994. Oh, shit. They were in Second City together. Oh. But I love it. And there was also a segment where he had the wig.
He looks weird with hair.
He kind of looks great.
Nah, man. He's got to keep that bald head.
He doesn't do it for you?
Nah.
Okay, let me keep working on my Colin Firth wig for you then.
No, I already got you a poster of him, so put it up there.
It's getting worn out. But we love ourselves Pete Hornberger sort of moment. He just doesn't care about his job, but he has enough pulse in him to keep going, essentially. Let's talk about Kenneth the Page.
Oh, Kenneth.
So his character is from Stone Mountain. And Donald Glover also grew up there. And a lot of the writing for Kenneth's character was spawned off Donald Glover.
Oh, yeah?
Not to say they were his experiences, but he had obviously a frame of reference, if you'll pardon the reference. One of the sort of scenes that I enjoy is when he's going to his train. I missed it. On that midnight train to Georgia.
Yeah, I remember
that.
Well,
Gladys Knight comes out as well. Oh, it's a powerhouse. Yes, Tina Fey has been on SNL and, it might be easier to have connections to bring people in, but they use it so pointedly and so succinctly. So definitely enjoy that. Kenneth also had a running joke that he was older than he seemed.
Yeah, there's like videos from ages ago where he'd show up in the background.
Yeah, he was literally The Shining. Like in this, one of the sequences was when Liz and Pete were trying to figure out how old well, first of all, Tufa, and also how old Tracy Morgan was. So they were trying to figure out if Tracy knew any songs, because apparently they grew up at around the same time, and they were singing the song "It Takes Two," right? So they started rapping, and Tracy didn't know it, and then Kenneth comes in the hallway and he starts singing the song. So good. So it's just like, oh, you can write a show or you can immortalize your legacy. I said it. Pow pow. Yeah. Come for me. I'm the sheriff in Daddywood, my friends. But yeah, Kenneth the Page. And then there was this whole segment about like the Page program. Donnie, who was the head of the Pages, is actually our guy in Black Monday.
It is.
Yeah. He has like a Nickelodeon cartoon face. Right? Actually, so does Jack McBrayer. So there you go. And Jack McBrayer is also in the Touch My Body Mariah Carey music video, which I always get a kick out of as well. Let's talk about Tufa, Frank Rossitano, and Lutz.
Yeah, the Three Stooges, if you have them.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
So Tufa is this, what's the term?
He's a Tufa. He's a... What's the prestigious? Is it Harvard?
Yeah.
He's a Harvard graduate and he's also black. So is it Tufa? 2 for 1.
He's a diversity double whammy.
Yeah. He is. And apparently it kind of modeled what SNL is. So you have like really smart, like Harvard sort of graduates. So like a Colin Jost. And then you also have like, you know, on the ground sort of comedians like Michael Che, for example. Right. So that was Frank and Tufa, and they shared that office. Right. Lutz is kind of deplorable. I do appreciate that Kellen Lutz is his nephew. Hey, Twilight fans. Because that's literally all Kellen Lutz has done. Notable, really. The lady that plays Sue is actually married to Lutz in real life.
Yeah, you told me that.
So that's quite cute as well. Suri, she's fun. Lord. No, but she's fun. She would make backhand comments, but she obviously there's no malice in it as well. Obviously she's sexualized on the show. One of the moments that I like is when Liz Lemon's character is trying to instill, you know, some of her values, because I'm not going to say Suri didn't have values, right? And she's like, you need to wear a bra, Suri. And Suri's like bouncing up and down. She's like, no, I don't. Look. Shout outs to the titty owners that can do that, because my swing low sweet chariots have no chance. They'll be in 2 different postcodes. It's just not going to happen.
Oh, that's why I'm there, mate.
Exactly. Oh, goodness me. Can we talk about Dr. Leah Spaceman?
Yeah.
Chris
Cyril
Parnell.
Figgis, yeah.
Cyril Figgis, and also Jerry from Rick and Morty. And he's also an SNL alumni as well. But there's so many quotable quotes for Dr. Leo Spaceman. And, you know, one of the ones where Don Geis's character passes out and Jack's like, can you help? Can you help? And he's like, I can't find the heart. It's different for every person. It's so good. And then when he sees Angie about to give birth, he's like, oh, I'm not really sure what to do. Usually my experience is actually getting women pregnant, putting babies in women.
It's weird because I think I didn't like the over-the-top characters in this. Like, Spaceman was same with Tina Fey's agent. I just didn't resonate with them enough to like them as a whole.
You're a whole. A whole that will be unblemished.
The best kind.
But the most unloved, unfortunately. There you go. There's a soundbite. But I really enjoyed Dr. Leo Spaceman and how on the live episodes he was singing songs from his Intercourse album as well. Just so good. Just so good. And let's continue because we have other characters we need to mention. Sue Bass, the janitor, was actually a genuine employee of Silver Cup Studios, which is where they film.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and then they had a whole little arc for him,
Yeah.
which is quite cute as well. Let's talk about Liz Lemon's love interests
Oh,
because there's quite a lot. You can choose.
Wesley Snipes.
My luscious plum. Anyone that calls Tina Fey a luscious plum is going to heaven in my book.
Did you know of Wesley Snipes when you watched this?
I know who Wesley Snipes is.
Mm.
I know who Wesley Snipes is, but just like his character, when you hear the name Wesley Snipes, do you imagine the movie star or do you imagine a pasty Englishman? And I love how he refers to his bike as a foot cycle, and how he mentioned that they have the equivalent of Friends. I'll be there for you when the rains fall in Wales. Chums. So good. And he also it gets to a point where Liz Lemon is trying to figure out what to do with her life, and he coins it as settling soulmates,
Yeah.
which is very grim.
It is grim, but they were not compatible.
I don't know, but Michael Sheen is kind of everything.
Mm.
Wouldn't your soul want to settle and mate with him?
Not at the expense of my sanity.
Right?
Yeah.
But he is great. Let's talk about my best friend for life, Dean Winters.
He is that bad smell that just won't go.
Rude.
He is.
He's the rat king. He's the beeper king. It comes with the territory. You know what I love? One of the favorite moments that I love about Dennis and Liz is when he's at her place and he also brings his cousin with his dog, with a Great Dane, or his brother, and she's trying to kick him out. And he's like, I love you. She's like, get out. He's like, I claim squatters' rights. And Liz is like, which one? Do you love me or are you claiming squatters' rights? He's just a great character. I fucking love Dean Winters. And aside from the core cast, Dean Winters is one of the only people that appeared in every season.
Oh,
You're welcome.
that's a really nice nitpick. But then I'd like to say this.
Okay.
You gave me grief for liking Lawrence in Insecure.
Okay.
Don't you think Lawrence and Dean Winters in this are a bit similar?
How?
They're both bums.
Yeah, but he wasn't pretending to be anything else. Let's continue just to make sure we can mention all the other characters. One of my favorite lines from Dennis Duffy is, and it pretty much encapsulates him as a character, right? Because they're talking about beepers, and Liz is like, beepers are being phased out. And he's like, no, that's just it. Technology is cyclical.
It comes back, mate.
It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. Oh, but fucking hell. Love Jason Sudeikis as Floyd.
Nah, he's crap, man.
Got that old leather pumpkin.
Yeah, he's crap.
Yeah, to bring his wife back just to pay for the wedding.
Yeah.
That's dodgy. That's dodgy. We talked about John Hamm a little bit. I love how progressively we realize how dumb he is, but it's not necessarily that he's dumb. It's more, good-looking people don't have to work as hard because he's in the bubble, right? Where he pretends to speak French, and it's the same as Jack Donaghy. It's just indecipherable, non-French, right? But, one of the funny sort of anecdotes is he thought he saw one of his sports coaches in Africa. Yeah. And he lost both of his hands.
Yeah. Yeah, he's dumb. I don't know why he backpedaled on that. He's dumb ass.
But amazing. Just amazing. Matt Damon plays Carol. That was
the
quite
emotional
interesting.
pilot.
The emotional pilot. No, don't cry. It'd be okay. That's Liz Lemon. But yeah, they had quite an interesting sort of dynamic. And I guess the way it fizzled is they were too similar and they were too stubborn. Yeah. I also want to mention Peter Dinklage.
Oh.
Because we fucking love him and I'm glad he was on the show. But yeah, she mistakes him as a child. Which is quite funny in its own sort of story. And she ends up with James Marsden.
Yeah.
He has such a nice, handsome Disney-ish face.
True.
The first time I saw him was in Enchanted, I think.
I can't remember what I first saw him in, but he's been around.
Yeah, and it's nice. It was nice, and his character was Crisscross, and he had his hot dog van. Full circle. But yeah, let's leave it there in regards to her love interest. But what an amazing show. And, you know, I will continue to watch this in amongst the garbage. It's like a palate cleanser, you know? The garbage that you make me watch, I can weave in between my 30 Rock. Definitely. But let's just do a rapid fire on all of the guest stars on 30 Rock. So we have Jerry Seinfeld for Seinfeld Vision. That was one of the funniest things because NBC had so many hours of footage of him on Seinfeld. They were just going to insert him into random shows. One of the funniest one is when he was inserted into MILF Island.
Yeah.
So good. We also had Queen Latifah as Regina Bookman. And she would start to grandstand. And when I start talking like this, I don't know where I'm going with it. So
Said every black person ever.
And we also have Kelsey Grammer as Frasier. So him, Jenna, and Kenneth's character run a short grift and the long con with the cakes. That was hilarious on its own little story, right? We also have Al Gore. There's a whale in trouble. Also in the same episode, your best friend David Schwimmer as Greenzo is in there. I also want to give some accolades to Steve Buscemi. Yes, who plays Lenny. And I don't know if in his other roles he denotes to how lizardish he looks, but he talks about his wet eyes and he like blinks. And he also,
he's
I can't
badass
remember.
in Boardwalk Empire, so
He's all ass. And he dresses up as a teacher and he wears a wig. I can't remember what that lady's name is, but I'll look it up.
I was undercover as a kid, as a teenager.
How do you do, fellow kids? So good. Michael Keaton was also in, I think, just one episode. And the funniest thing was he was like, oh, this is my last day. This is my last day. And he ends up getting shot. That was also the same episode where they had the gas leak, where Dennis kept turning it on so Liz Lemon would come back to him. You'll be back, Liz. With Balloon Boy. We also have Megan Mullally playing Bev, who's the adoption. So that was quite good as well. Weird Al, Borpo, otherwise known as Oprah. We talked about Margaret's show. Will Ferrell as Bitch Hunter, which is also another one of the shows. We had Sean Hayes as Jack McBrayer, Kenneth's cousin. We also had Matthew Broderick, who was called Cooterburger. When Jack Donaghy was in like a government sort of role. We have pens! But they were pen lids, unfortunately. Conan O'Brien, Aaron Sorkin also makes an appearance. I'm not sure if you remember that. And Carrie Fisher, which is one of my favorite lines that Jack says to Liz. Never follow a hippie to a second location. Truer words.
I've never been spoken.
But thank you so much, guys. As you can hear, I definitely could have kept going. And my love will continue to go on for 30 Rock. So let's get into For Your Reference. Dare you?
Yeah.
Shan't you? Shall you?
I'll recommend Last OG. It's obvious.
Nice.
Tracy Morgan is there. It's hilarious. If you get Tracy Morgan comedy, this is the epitome of everything that his pretty much is. So it's amazing. It's funny. I think the 2 seasons out already. Just binge watch it like we did.
And that comes out of the mind grapes of Jordan Peele, who understands, the humor
and how to write for him, for sure. Yeah.
So good.
And it has Tiffany Haddish as well.
And it also has Kenneth McBrayer. Jack McBrayer for like one episode, which is quite nice as well. Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to the table. Appreciate it.
I'll bring the table, mate.
I'll bring the ass for the table. I will recommend 2 shows. Arrested Development and community.
Oh, nice.
If you loved 30 Rock and you're looking for shows that have substance and layered writing with relatable, lovable, laughable characters, these are the shows you definitely need to check out. And here is a payoff. Thank you so much, OT, in particular, for letting us do this episode on 30 Rock. If you want to follow us on a day-to-day sort of basis on Twitter and Instagram, we are For Your Ref Pod. If you want to send us an email,
it's hello@fypodcast.com.
We also have a YouTube, guys.
Sure do.
So make sure you definitely check that out. And if you'll be so kind, please leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, thank you. And see ya.
Bye.